Ibom yin, Ibo and main. Akwai Ibom yin, Ibo and main. Akwai Ibom yin, Ibo and main. The tokang yin, yeah.
Hello guys, good afternoon. My name is Yubi.
My name is Akaite.
And welcome to Ibom Weddings. It's been a while, I know guys, it's been a while we've done a video on this channel, but we're really excited today to come to you guys with a different topic. We're talking about bride price. We're trying to bring an awareness to the process of having bride price being paid by the groom to the bride's family. We do have a couple of questions that we would like to cover, but this is an open question, open discussion. We want to see your experiences for the married ones in the comment section. Let's know what you experienced, what your partner experienced, or what your husband experienced when it was time for him to, or him and his family to pay your bride price. What was the experience like? Let us know in the comment sections at the end of this video or while watching this video.
Okay, so yeah, this is just, talking about the topic of bride price, because we've had a few questions from people on what our opinion is regarding who to pay bride price to. Is it necessary to even go through the process?
Yeah.
And we've also been it's also been brought to our attention, I'll put it that way, that some families try to commercialize the whole process. Some families intentionally or unintentionally make things a bit difficult for couples trying to get married.
Yeah.
So we just want to talk about it. It's just a discussion. We're not, giving any
advice or whatsoever.
Yeah, so we're not giving like a standard on how things should be done, because we understand that this is culture, and
you can't change 100 years
exactly.
of culture. Yeah,
and it's different as it relates to different communities.
Absolutely.
It's different as it relates to different families as well.
Yeah.
So we can't give like a generalized advice.
Yeah.
But this is just our opinion. Basically, just speaking with you, just communicating with you. That's why we've said you can leave your comments on what you think, or what your own experiences have also been.
Yeah.
So we'll just go through very few questions. The first one would be, what is considered a necessity in a bride price list? So what do you think is necessary there, and what do you think is unnecessary? Let's put it that way.
Necessary and unnecessary. Yeah. I think we'll just start with the fact that Ibom as a whole, as when we did a research regarding this bride price conversation, and when I found out that Ibom is like the second most expensive, or longest list, if I put it that way. Ibom is the second on the list, and which one was the first? I really can't remember.
I think it was Calabar.
Calabar, but Ibom is second most expensive. So when I'm talking about the list, I think food, I can't fault when it comes to having goat, cow, drinks. I really cannot fault that, because obviously I would probably like to think that the family would use the food to prepare for the traditional marriage or for the ceremony. Yeah. But what I don't understand, and I really cannot for the life of me understand, is Apple laptop on a list. What is going on?
Yeah.
Why is a MacBook on the bride price list?
Yeah.
What's any type of laptop? What is it doing on a list? It does not make sense. How does that work? A mom, I think the story I heard was where they put an Apple laptop for the bride's mom. At the end of the day, the bride's mom did not see that laptop.
Right. I've heard of all kinds of ridiculous things as well.
Yeah.
Things that families things that should be personal, and then it seems as though they waited for the time of the marriage to have all these things purchased for them. Yeah. And you find out that it ends up stressing the couple. It ends up stressing the bride. Yeah. And most especially if the groom is not even from the States as well and doesn't understand the culture, you find out that it's really daunting for them. It's very overwhelming for their family. Yeah. Because they're trying to understand, why do we have to pay this much just to be with the people that we love.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. So we would say that some of those things are absolutely not necessary. You know, the drinks, the food, the goats, and all of that. Those are things that you can still justify and say this can be used in preparing for the food, for the ceremony. Or this is just culture for the family. You know, we always give things like cow, goats, and stuff to families and stuff. Those we can't question.
Yeah.
You know, wrapper sets and stuff.
Yeah, the clothes they can use in wearing during the absolutely.
Gifts for the families or the direct siblings or family members of this person.
Yeah.
Those we can't question. But then all these other extra things that we know that should have nothing to do with the traditional list.
No business on that.
You know, for that we can 100% agree with anyone that wants to question it.
Yeah.
When it arises. Yeah. So we'll just we'll go to the second one. Second question is it important to include the provision of items to people who have never contributed to the growth of the bride? For example, village elders and community leaders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I think with that one, I had a conversation where we were told that a child born to a man and a woman does not necessarily, it boils down to tradition, does not necessarily belong to the father and the mother. The child belongs to the community. And it's something I really do not understand. But I think it was them trying to say that, oh, you are from a community, so that community is your heritage, and so they should take part. You're leaving that community to join your husband's community, so they should take part in like they probably do like a farewell. Say, okay, we are marrying you out to somebody else's.
Yeah, but I'm wondering. But then, if it wasn't like a marriage, if it was something else, for example, would they take part in it? Say if you entered some kind of trouble, would they take part in it? No.
I mean, will the village head tell me, oh, my daughter's getting married, come and eat. You've eaten from me, why should I? Should I come and eat from you?
Exactly, or cases like that. So, well, with that, I would say it's, again, we can't give any advice.
Yeah.
We can only say, if we're going to follow the logical reasoning in it, we would say it has to be people that have been directly involved in the life of the bride.
Absolutely.
The bride's parents, or in cases where the bride has older siblings who have, contributed to their lives financially or in other ways.
Uncles, aunties,
people that have been involved in the growth of this person from when they were a baby up until now. Or even if not directly financially, at least they're aware. Most of these people are not even aware what school you went to. They don't even know. They don't know where you are right now in your life. They've only just heard that you're getting married, and they are now available, on this list.
What is a youth leader of a village doing on the bride price list? No, it's actually, I think people don't really understand that this bride price list causes a lot of friction between a man and a woman.
It does, yeah.
It has actually broken down engagement because of the ridiculousness of it all. So especially in terms of interracial marriages
or intertribal
marriages, people come in and like, what is this?
Yeah,
and they just leave.
Especially in cultures that they don't really have that. They don't go through.
They don't have to go through that. Yeah. So I don't understand why, for the life of me, why a youth leader of a village is what's their name doing on that list?
Yeah.
You have to give you have to give football to the village boys, or else during the traditional marriage they won't let you do anything.
Right. It just
things like that.
It just makes things more difficult.
And that football is if you go to the market, it's probably like 15 or 100 there. But the price on the list it's like commercial international football. International football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seriously.
So, well, again, we would say the people that should be on that list should be the family of the. Again, it's different based on the culture of the people. But I mean, it is necessary that cultures try to tone it down as well. Because come to think of it, people make those rules. Those cultures were created by people.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like it has been really monetized. Recently.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like defeating the purpose of what it was meant to be at first. we understand the need to preserve our culture, but we need to know where to draw the line. Basically, we need to know when we're going overboard. And in most cases these days, with stories that we've heard, so many families are going overboard with it. That's why we've come to discuss about it and to hear your thoughts. And from your experience, someone else might learn on how to handle it, handle that kind of situation. So the third question we will be addressing, and the last question would be, in cases where the parents have been separated, should either the parent who has never been involved in the child's life be considered on the list? So in a case where the family is not together anymore, or either of the parents haven't been involved in the life of this child or the upbringing of the child, should they be considered at all on the list?
I think when it comes to the father's side, it's quite difficult for you to say, oh, a father who has never been in the life of a child, should they be involved in the decision making of that child? When it comes back again, bringing it back to tradition, a child is not from the mother's side. It's primarily from the father's side. So that's her roots. You can say, oh, where are you from? So someone like me from Ibom, I'll say, where in Ibom? Ibom, I can't want to say Ibibio. That's my mom's side.
From your
I'm from my dad's. I'm from Surubim. That's the way it is. That's the norm. That's the tradition. So it's very difficult to say, oh, the dad cannot be involved. Probably easy to say the mom cannot be involved. She's never been involved. But I think it's a very tricky question to actually to dissect or understand or explain. Because at the end of the day, to be honest, when it comes to marriage, it should be loving, and everyone should come together to make sure that to make sure that the wedding is a success. The child is going successfully to another family. The parent should ensure that, because again, the way you send off your child to someone else's family, it will tell on how they would treat that child necessarily. So you said, oh, my mom has not been involved in my life, so she shouldn't be involved in like the decision making of my wedding. Really, you can't necessarily say that. You should even be happy to have your mom and your dad come and be part of that decision making.
So what I'll say is, in cases like this, is you have to do what you. I think I would say you have to cross all the
dot the I's,
dot all the I's on this. So most of what I would think is necessary to make them aware. Unless they are just not interested. I mean, they've not been interested in your life since you were a kid, and they couldn't care less who you were getting married to. They don't care. That's different. You can then say, I mean, these people don't care. They know I'm getting married. They don't care. And then you can decide at that point. It even makes it easier then, because at least you've tried on your own to try to involve them. So if they're still not interested, then that way you can go ahead and do what you want to do. But I think it's necessary to at least make them aware, because you have a place where you're from. You have a root. And if
it's
you're
very
going to be
important.
Exactly. If you're going to be getting married, who you're getting married to would want to know where you're coming from. Unless you just decided to do a private wedding, unless you know that your family doesn't care, you don't care to, and you wanted to do a private wedding outside, that's totally fine. That's totally your decision. But then if we were to advise, we would say it's important to try to carry everyone along as much as you can. As much as you can. Try to involve maybe your mother, your father, if they want to come together. If this is going to be an opportunity for people to come together and celebrate, being that it's your wedding, then you just do. It's going to be a day anyway. After that, you're going to have your whole life to decide who should be carried along or who shouldn't be carried along. So if the culture says you have to pay a bride price to your father, and your father hasn't really been in your life, I would say it's important to try to, just give to Caesar what is Caesar's, basically. Just do what you need to do to make the process as easy and peaceful
as
and
possible,
stress-free for you, because the process of planning a wedding on its own is very, very stressful. So you want to avoid any extra stress. So if you haven't been in a good relationship with them, and then the culture demands that you need to, pay bride price to your father or the community before moving ahead, we just advise you do that as much as you can. Make it as simple, make it as straightforward as you can, possible. And then you move on after that.
And in terms of getting married and being with someone and doing the whole marriage process, I think personally, is that it's very important to go into it knowing your heritage and knowing who you are. Like, knowing who you are is not about, oh, I am this person, this and that. Your roots, where you're coming from, plays a very big part in who you are as a person. Having a very strong family background is very, very important, because when they see you, they can see those behind you.
And this is not necessarily an Akwa Ibom thing, to be honest.
Absolutely.
It's just
not limited to that.
Yeah, so it might even be that you were not born in the country, or you were not born in Akwa Ibom, or you have nothing to do with, or you have not, let me not say have nothing, you only know you're from there, or you've never really been there. But if you're going to want to do a traditional wedding, unless you just don't want to have a traditional wedding, if you're going to have a traditional wedding, because what we're talking about now is bride price and who to be considered or not considered. If you're going to have a traditional wedding, it's necessary to just, go through the culture, do what you need to do on their part, and then you can have your other wedding or anything else, other celebration anywhere else. Or if you've decided on your own that you don't even want a traditional wedding, that's even a different topic. Right? Okay. So so that's what we wanted to talk about today. Like I said, we haven't really given any specific advice. We're just having a conversation. So there are some things that you might not agree with, which is from what we've said, and that's totally fine. We don't have all the answers, so you can, offer your own
suggestions,
advice,
and try and negotiate your bride price. I think I've heard that it can't be negotiable. But if you want to see advice, it's something that we heard. You can negotiate your list. I think again we've also been advised that it's having that list. They'll give you an outrageous list, but something whereby it brings the family together to have a reasonable conversation to say, okay, this is really ridiculous. Can we talk about this? Can we discuss this? This is what we can provide, and then the other party will discuss on that. But I think you can actually negotiate that list. Don't just give up and say, oh, this list is so massive, and then when your partner or your husband is complaining, or your husband to be complaining, you're like, oh, no, just pay. But just try. There are other venues you can actually get rid of this. I mean, you don't have to pay it all at once. I've heard that story before where you don't have to pay everything at once. I think you can pay slowly, like monthly.
At the end of the day, the families that care about you will also care about your happiness. So it's necessary to try to negotiate it as much as you can. Most of this list is just what they give to you. But especially for people that are not from Akwa Ibom, this shouldn't scare you away. I mean, this shouldn't make you afraid. It's something that can always be discussed. It's something that can always be brought down. I've heard of stories like that. I've also personally experienced that myself. So that was just it for today. We're really happy to come to you. It's been a while since we've made a video. So we're happy to, come to you today to just say hello. Thank you for following us. Thank you for engaging on our page. Please continue to follow us. And we are also available for any kind of advice or any opinions that you want. If you want to message us about it, we can always, provide answers as much as we can. Please also message us if you want to, carry out any adverts, or if you want to advertise anything about your business on our page, we do that. And we also have a vendors list. Okay, so we have so many people asking us about services that we know that people provide in the States, in Akwa Ibom State, especially for traditional weddings, and also in Cross River State. So if you want to join our vendors list, we're available. Just send us an email to ibomweddings@gmail.com. And we can add you to the list. We can suggest. Whenever people need your services, we can suggest. We're not going to force you down their throats, but then we can always suggest. We can suggest that we know these people that can do this, and then it'll be left for them to choose if they would like to work with you. But then, of course, if you don't get the exposure, then you don't even get the possibility of having someone to work with. So thank you so much for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following us, and we will see you in our next video.
New creation, when all your became on Calabar.